SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Whether you're looking to start a career with no student loans or change careers to land one of the happiest jobs in the world, yep, that's construction, Build Mississippi can help. Visit buildmississippi.com to learn why a career in the trades deserves another look. Buildmississippi.com. Your future is waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when
Yeah, baby.
at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive.
Good morning to you on a Friday morning. I hope it is a wonderful Friday morning for you and yours. And if not, well, you have something on your to-do list for the day. Make it a wonderful day. You can do that. It's amazing. All you have to do is just have the right attitude and work at it. If it doesn't happen naturally, hopefully it just works naturally and it surprises you. Are you going to have a good day, Lance?
Of course.
Of course.
You got to have perspective here.
And always remember one other thing. You can put that effort in, you can have the right attitude, you can have the right mindset, you can make all the right moves, and sometimes it still doesn't completely click. There is one final option, which is fake it.
Yeah, that's my life there. Just
Yeah.
fake it till you make it. I'm still faking it, baby.
Oh, I'm
Professional faker.
I'm hopefully going to be faking it at my funeral, and all the way up until then,
Yeah.
it's been a lifelong habit.
Faking it through my hundreds, well into my 120s, looking good doing it. That's what I'm hoping.
Do what you got to do. One thing we don't have to fake anymore is knowing that Drew Brees is Hall of Fame worthy, because he's in.
Oh, good. He better be.
They announced it last night. Drew Brees, first ballot Hall of Famer, as he should be, one of the greatest to ever play.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the Breeze. I'm glad he ended up in New Orleans as well, instead of isolated out there on the West Coast. I was so happy when he came here. I loved him in college. Purdue guy, tough dude, was pretty much a star in anything he tried to play. I think he and Andy Roddick were buddies, and they used to play tennis against each other. And I think he held his own pretty well there for many, many years, many, many matches. And then finally it was like, all right, I'm a football guy. And so the rest is history and Hall of Fame history now.
My favorite part of his story is he was out at San Diego, not having the best of times, but he was doing okay.
Yeah.
And got that shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego said, well, you're done. You're never going to play again. There's no way to come back from that. That's going to affect your throwing motion. That's going to affect your velocity. That's going to cause all these problems. You're never going to be able to recover from that. Go away. Drew Brees walking on that stage last night as a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer is a great example of how just because one dingbat thinks that you're washed up doesn't mean anything.
Well, there's a pretty good class there, too.
Yeah.
In the 2026 with Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald. What a man-child out at wide receiver he was. Luke Kuechly, and then Adam Vinatieri, who, dude only made field goals for big games. He just won big games for you. That's what he did. Kind of like the Ole Miss kicker this past season. He was absolutely money. And then Roger Craig, a bruising running back from the 49ers, right? Or let's see who –
I think he played for the 49ers for a while.
Yeah, he totaled at least 1,000 yards from scrimmage in each of his first 7 seasons, cracking 2,000 twice.
The thing is, Craig had a little bit of motion, but mostly he'd just step on your face as he ran over you. That was his go-to move.
I loved the Niners of that era, too. They were so physical. And NFL football was extremely physical then, but you had running backs like Craig and Dickerson and others before him, like Earl Campbell, and those that were just absolute beasts. You look at the game today. There's a little more waggle involved with a lot of the running backs, but you see a Derrick Henry type, or you don't see Bo Jackson types much more. They're very few and far between, but for a long time, you had guys that were 6'2", 6'3", 240, running 4.4s. I mean, just running over people, and I loved that. That was, the era of football I grew up watching, and I love the air game too. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about watching a horse of a running back absolutely trucking linebackers and dragging people down the field with them. I don't know. It's just football.
Bo Jackson in his prime, though, is a completely different conversation. If they had done the TV intros like they do now, where they give a past fact, his would have said, Bo Jackson, the Charles Xavier School for Gifted Children, because that man was a mutant.
Oh, he was. I mean, in watching the replays back in college while he was at Auburn playing baseball too, and I was a freshman there once and on the baseball team, and there was a place way out in right field over a ditch, which was not like a small ditch, a big drainage ditch, and then there was what you call the athletic dorms, kind of as it went up to the right. Big, huge pine trees, and the athletic dorm was sitting way, way, way back off of right field past that ditch. And there was a place in the upper level parking lot where he had hit a ball over the lights, over the pine trees, and it had landed up there. And obviously one of the managers went up there and marked it. And that mark had been there even when I got there. That was one of the legends that you could go up there and see where he hit that ball. And you'd stand there and look back at home plate and just go, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. But, yes, there was a way. Bo Jackson, that's the way.
Well,
so
Drew Brees pulled off a lot of that same level stuff
when
it comes to football. And, of course, he brought a Super Bowl trophy to New Orleans, a sentence no one would have ever believed was going to ever be true.
Yeah.
That alone should have got him several votes in there, but congratulations to Brees.
Well, I mean, he's the greatest player in Saints franchise history, marching into Canton in the first ballot, 13-time Pro Bowler, led New Orleans back from the brink to its only Super Bowl title in the span of 4 years, was the most efficient quarterback of his era, and yet somehow underrated. The diminutive passer was overlooked in the era of statuesque gunslingers such as Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, and flashy throwers like Aaron Rodgers, but Brees was the most accurate and most consistent quarterback of his era, setting standards that only reached in today's game. Really, Brees threw for over 5,000 yards 5 times. So it's just amazing, man. Finished with 70% completion percentage or better 7 times, and including his last 5 seasons in a row.
Always liked it when the two teams would play, and after the game, you'd see Brees and Brady standing there talking, and you're like, okay, this is a meeting of peers. Yeah. They're the only two that can talk to each other, really, as far as active quarterbacks at that point, at the level they were talking at. And we say that, and it sounds all fancy and important, and they're sitting there just shooting the bull like anybody else, but it looks impressive to the fans.
Well, I mean, he threw for 80,358 yards and 571 passing TDs, and that's only behind Tom Brady. So, I mean, the two greatest quarterbacks that have ever played the game.
And right the only reason Brady pulled out ahead of him is Brady played more years.
Oh, yeah.
Brees retired, and Brady kept going, came back with another team, I
don't remember Brady ever really being injured per se either, because Brees was a little bit hamstrung early in the career with numbers, because, as you said, he had the shoulder injury, and they weren't necessarily slinging it around out there in the West as well as they did at New Orleans under Peyton, in my opinion. Sean Payton also and Drew Brees, I don't know if there's a better quarterback head coach combo that were more fun to watch. I'm sure that's arguable, but, being a Saints guy, love the Saints, grew up with them when everybody was wearing the bags on their heads.
Yes.
That was almost a rite of passage at some point.
Well,
did you go to a game? Did you wear a bag on your head?
I've talked about it many times. It's the same thing with the Braves. I grew up watching them on TBS. when you had the powder baby blue uniforms and
Love them.
270 pounds worth of Bob Horner on third base.
Bob Horner, man, what a hitter, though. Goodness gracious.
Oh, yeah. Well, he didn't run fast. He didn't have to. They never found the ball.
Yeah, back then you had guys that looked like John Kruk and Horner and just a bunch of dudes that didn't look like, they did much on Sunday other than maybe fire up a Marlboro and a six-pack and maybe get on the snapper lawnmower. But yeah, they played ball and they were really good at it too.
Back during the era of Bob Horner and Glenn Hubbard and Dale Murphy.
Oh, I love Dale.
There's your name.
Yeah, I think he swung like a 4-foot 2x4.
Yeah.
As a bat, basically.
Well, that mole had an ERA that was incredible. It was in the bullpen. It was a relief pitcher for when he was busy.
You remember the old Sid Finch deal?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that great, man? I went back
Yeah.
it must have been a few weeks ago. Usually one time during baseball season or as we get close, I always go back and revisit the Sid Finch marketing story with Plimpton and those guys. That was really a good one. It's almost as good as Orson Welles and the War on the Worlds. I mean,
Yes,
it took
War of
about,
the Worlds.
Yeah, it took about the same amount of people were like, what? Who's this guy's doing 120? Sid Finch? God. There's a documentary on that's actually worth watching. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the Birdman or something.
We're a gullible species, is, I think, the point to take from all of that.
We want somebody to be Superman. We really do.
Yes, we're looking for the mutants. We enjoy them. We enjoy a good mutation here on Earth. Well, we're getting started, and trust me, it's going to be a kind of a flat level. We're where we're going to be, I'm afraid, for most of the day. We do have some stuff we need to get into and talk about more seriously later on, but we continue slowly waking up when we return on mornings here on Super Talk Mississippi right after this. Keep it here.
From the Venable Glass.
Keeping Mississippi in the know, one morning at a time. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back. Super Talk Mississippi mornings presented by Community Bank, rooted in our community, communitybank.net, where you can go to find out more. Have you went and got you some cheap drugs yet?
Cheap drugs yet? No, I haven't.
President Trump last night announced the official opening of TrumpRx.gov. Where you can go get drugs. We'll look at it later. I'll call it up and we'll go
Didn't
through.
see that one.
Oh yeah, he had a big press event. Released it on the White House social media channels. Full thing. Had guests. Dr. Oz was there. Everybody else, and made the announcement. And apparently, it's now live.
Fantastic, man.
So you
little
can
competition,
go.
huh?
Well, here's how it works. Here's my favorite part. They're not selling anything, I don't think, directly from the site. You go there and you print out a coupon. Mm-hmm. And you take it, and they sell it to you for that price at the pharmacy.
Interesting concept there.
Yeah. We'll take a look at it later on. I was just curious if you'd already gone over there because, as you know, we're getting close to severely bad times in Mississippi because, well, apparently it's going to eventually become illegal to be fat. The Wegovy, the Ozempic, all of that. Right up at the top of the list of the drugs that they're doing dirt cheap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a little mixed on all of it, with taking the pill for the weight loss and all that. I know that it's very helpful. I know that it's extremely successful too. You just hope that people change their diets a little bit and maybe infuse a little exercise in there after you chisel off some of that weight, so you don't have to be on that stuff forever. I always hate it when you got to take something forever.
Well, that's
habits
the thing.
too.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Trump RX site. The Wegovy pill, the original price, $1,349. The Trump RX price, $149 a month.
Yeah. A little difference there, huh?
That's the Ozempic dropping from $1,028 down to $199. So there's some significant discounts there.
This is going to be really interesting to see. I'm glad that you brought that up. I was not aware of this, so just amazing.
You're going to take me down a deep, deep rabbit hole. You're very close.
Well, go down it, man.
You weren't aware that happened because the national media didn't cover it.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, I'm not necessarily digging around for prescription drug coverage or anything. So, but yeah, this was definitely not on the front and center, or even on the periphery of some of the news sites that I sift through on a daily basis. But Trump RX is rewriting the script, bringing major savings on essential medications for all Americans. Pretty interesting. I mean, it
has the potential to be disruptive.
Yeah.
To the pharmaceutical industry. Now, keep in mind, they're the ones that agreed to these discounts, and a lot of these discounts, asterisk here, a lot of these discounts are for only the first 2 months.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. You don't want to be on things forever. If you have to change your habits a bit, do something different. But I know that the pen works, so I've known quite a few people that have taken the Wegovy in those, and it definitely, man, it shaves the weight off fast too. But the long-term ramifications for that, you want to be able to make sure you can sustain that without having to take the medicine forever. And in this case, you have, as you mentioned, $14.49 for the Gonal F per pen, and with discounts of 93%, that gets you down to $252. That's even cheaper than Canadian drug for the same thing. So that's $355 for the same pen up in Canada. So I love the way we're comparing it to Canada, though.
Yes, that's who we got to compare it to.
Got to have a comparison with Canada here, man.
Jab.
Yeah, exactly.
It's continuous. And I will say this. I don't have a problem with these. The only problem I see is that I guess you just have to keep taking it unless you make those changes you're talking about.
Yeah, it's something that you'll deal with. But that's where we are in the world. It's much easier to kind of take something and okay, everything will be okay. I hope we learned lessons though from COVID and shots and boosters that we need to be careful what we put in our bodies. But some people definitely have a great demand, a great need for these types of things. My sister's in the business, so in pharmaceutical world, and I've watched as that industry's grown and changed and adapted over the years. But yet, drug costs in America are substantially higher than just about anywhere else on the planet. So
they're ridiculous.
Just about like everything else. So, I mean, when you're subsidizing the world's peace and safety and harmony and kumbaya moments, it costs us a lot more than it does them. That's where we are. So I think prescription drugs are very much on the same level as everything else. We're paying for it.
The thing is, specifically the weight loss drugs have some other health benefits other than just losing the weight. Having said that, you are then, in my mind, and I may be wrong, this is not medical advice, please consult your local physician. It just seems like you're going to be dependent on that to keep the weight off unless you have the motivation to make the changes to make that permanent. And I'm speaking as a guy, I've talked about this before, it's been a while, but when would this have been? About 2010, I'd say. I stepped on the scale one day, hadn't done it in a while, and the first number was a 3. I weighed 302 pounds.
Wow, really?
Yes. And became motivated at that point and said, this is going to change. No, I refuse. I've got pictures. I'll have to find some of those pictures and send them to you. It's ridiculous.
I did a 45-day only grapefruit diet. I was eating like 16 or 17 of them by the time I came to the end of that. But that was like right after college, and I was eating like 8 meals a day after playing baseball.
Well, you were.
know?
Yeah,
So I was like,
you're playing baseball.
I was trying to retrain my brain and body to accept less food and still function. But if people are curious, what is Trump RX? Trump RX is a website that lists discounted drug prices from manufacturers that have agreed to most favored nation pricing, or MFN pricing. Americans can use Trump RX to purchase drugs in cash outside of their insurance. These drugs can be obtained at participating pharmacies using coupon cards displayed on the Trump RX or directly through manufacturers' websites. Not all drugs are currently available at Trump RX, but many more are coming soon. And you'll say, well, what drugs are there on there? Well, just go to the website and look, trumprx.com. Pretty easy.
Yes.
It's got it all right there on the first page.
Well, I saw one of the announcements I saw about it. I actually saw the press conference. I watched it because I'm a party animal.
Yeah.
So, press conference on whitehouse.gov, I'm there. But afterwards, that was posted by the White House on X. The comments.
Yeah.
You entitled bunch of fluffheads. The immediate reaction, the immediate comments consisted of, well, this drug isn't listed and it's very expensive. Why not? Well, why isn't my drug listed? Well, this could be a bigger discount. Wah, wah, wah. All we do is complain.
Well, the last question on the facts, the FAQs are, why does my medication look different than the pictures on Trump RX? You got to take time to answer that. Well, because AI and these are visual representations and all this stuff. But it is the world we live in, isn't it?
Yes.
You got to complain. I mean, if you've got a brain, you got to complain.
Go look up in case you're bored, the average IQ and track it over the last 20 years and tell me how we got here.
Well, I would just go to Mike Judge, Idiocracy. I don't like to read much, so
Yes.
I just watch the movie every time I question it.
Every day that goes by, the way, that movie gets more prophetic.
Oh my goodness, he has to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Mike Judge, you got to put him in whatever Hall of Fame they got.
Can we give him a delayed Oscar for that movie? Because it turns out it was dead on.
Oh, yeah, it's great. And like you say, even the further we go and the more relevant it becomes. And Luke Wilson, I think they were interviewing him the other day or 6 months ago about it, and he was just kind of laughing it off, saying, yeah, I mean, we didn't really even think it was going to be as relevant when we made it. It was a comedy. We're just making fun of everything. But, yeah, it's the world we live in. It is definitely becoming more Idiocracy-like, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And prophetic, Mike Judge was.
Sooner or later, the average IQ will be a single-digit number. Right now, it's a double.
Well, there'll be a question mark in it somewhere in those 2 digits.
It's moving towards the middle of the double digits. It will be single-digit before it's over with. And then we'll all know what plants crave.
Brondo, man, come on.
Brondo, baby, Brondo.
It's got electrolytes.
If you didn't get any of that, go watch the movie this weekend. If you've never seen Idiocracy, you really need to. It will explain so much about our life day to day in America right now.
Oh, it is. I mean, and when they talk about the language, like they turn into a thing of hillbilly, valley girl, and this, you can't even understand anybody anymore.
I can barely understand them now. We continue on this Friday morning. Wow, 6:31. We're already off the rails. Going to be a whale of a show, baby. Stick around here on Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
He's in the jailhouse now.
Know where the news is going next. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music hits so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. What a mind to run and too hype, it feels good when you know you're down. A super dope homeboy from the Oak Town, and I'm
As always, I would like to take this opportunity to implore, to publicly plead with Hammer to please don't hurt him.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
Welcome back. I've got hammer pants in my mind now, and it's your fault.
Well, the hammer pants with the suit top. That was the look there of that time. Wear the suit at the top and then the hammer breeches. I love them. What a great song, though. I want us to get back to the day where you had the fade. You had and the lines in the side of the head. No, that was good stuff, man. Haircuts. We need to get back to cool haircuts again.
You are dangerously close to getting into back in my day territory.
Oh man, back in my day was good times.
Back in my day.
Well, we do have a bunch of birthdays to cover today. The first one I wanted to hit was the amazing Ava Braun. Can you imagine on her birthday as Hitler is going through a cocaine Pervitin-induced rage? She's just in there. Adolf, just calm him down just a little bit. Get off.
Have some cake.
Have some cake. Get off the Pervitin for just a minute, my love. Let me wax your mustache for you for just a second, love. Come on. They're not bombing nearby right now. Yes.
We're fine.
We're fine. Everything's good here. Yes.
They'll never find this bunker. Come on.
No, the bunker's hid very well. Very well. And let me just sit down and calm down, sir. I can only imagine that relationship. And another great one, though, Zsa Zsa Gabor. I can't remember how many times she was married, but it was a few, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it Baker's dozen or something like that?
Something ridiculous like that. It was like up in Elizabeth Taylor territory.
Yeah, those were, there's trophies for that amount of marriages these days, I think, if you can pull it off. Rip Torn, Elmore Rule Rip Torn Jr., one of my favorite part actors, or you would say bit actors out there. He's great, man. Just good dude. We also have another big one here. Fans of music may enjoy this. I saw their first, or I think it was a second live performance as they opened, and it was at the Mississippi Coliseum, and this guy came out slithering around with this voice that you've never heard before, and all of a sudden...
I already know who you're talking about.
They start talking about Paradise City, and we're like, who is this again? We came to see the other band, and this is the band blow my mind, let me tell you what, but William Bruce Rose Jr., also known as W. Axl Rose, is his birthday is today. So born February 1962, crazy man, and probably one of the greatest front men of all time.
He doesn't look the same, by the way. I don't know if you've seen him lately.
Well, I've seen a couple pics of him around 2023, 2024, but yeah, he's he went through a period there where he was wearing the dreadlocks and beads and everything, and I mean it was just wild. And he's kind of seemingly come back a little bit center line, but I don't know.
He has.
64 years old now.
But he's, again, 64. He should look different.
Yeah, I mean,
the ones that don't look different, I'm suspicious of.
Yeah, he looks almost robotic, though, as well as he's aged, given that I know what he went through during the time that they were on top of the ladder there. But a great front man. Also, born in Lafayette, Indiana, moved to L.A. back in the 80s, and played with a bunch of different bands. But the one you'll know the most, obviously, is who?
Guns N' Roses.
GNR, baby. That's right. Had another big one here, the Gip. The Gippers' birthdays today. Ronald Wilson Reagan. He passed away June 5th, 2004, but he was born on this day in 1911. American politician and actor who served as the 40th president of the United States from 81 to 89. Important figure in the modern conservative movement, and the era we remember as Reaganomics. Born in Tampico, Illinois, and he started out as in broadcasting, doing sports in Iowa. Did that for about 5 years before he moved out to California in 1937, and then kind of started getting into the acting world, where he made a great name for himself. Was president of the Screen Actors Guild, if I remember. And after that, he was the governor of California, and then obviously the president of the United States of America.
You know, it's funny that today is his birthday and that comes up. I've mentioned this before. One of the things I do for fun, because I am, at heart, a party animal, I watched the old Dean Martin Celebrity Roast.
Oh, those are awesome, man.
They had the roast of Frank Sinatra. Go look it up if you're bored.
Probably watched that, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Ronald Reagan was one of the people on the panel. It was in the time between when he was no longer governor of California, but hadn't officially run for president yet. It was in that time period. And he gets up there and he makes the case why Frank Sinatra should run for president with Dean Martin as his crawling mate. And it is the funniest thing you've ever seen, I think. And it really harkens back, and it really exemplified to me, you know, you can become one of the greatest conservative leaders of all time and have a sense of humor.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. not all serious all the time. I loved Ronald Reagan's movies. I mean, they were a little corny. You had the one with the monkey,
Yes.
one. Yeah. Oh my God. And then I mean, it's just good stuff. But as a president, what a dude. You know, I mean, what else can you really say? Kind of set off the fireworks for the Republican and conservative movements that have gone from there. Reaganomics very important. Was it he and Paul Volcker came up with that? And, you know, a lot of people criticize the economic policies of that time today in retrospect. But if you remember, we were at, 17, 18% interest rate?
Yes, exactly.
Gas problems left and right. You had the Iranians holding hostages, or, you know, it was just a wild time that he came into. Very similar to me as to Trump coming into office. To the mess that he inherited this second go around. So
yes, it was a different mess, but still same level.
And I think a lot of the Obama policies were punted. You had people thinking, hey, these are going to be great, such as Obamacare. That was years ago. Trump came in after that, and everybody was really banking on Trump getting rid of the ACA, if you remember. Like, you've got to get rid of this. Well, he didn't have the votes to do that. We'd have all loved that and built a better plan in its place. It didn't happen. But similar to Reagan, had a lot to deal with economically coming in. Gas prices were one, if you remember, the second go-around. I think everyone's been very satisfied with what they're paying at the pump lately versus, say, 3 years ago.
I paid, what was it, $2.10 the other day.
It was amazing. I'm like, my truck's full. I don't have to take a mortgage out for this anymore.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we can't skip over this one because one of the best of all time and one of the greatest stories, too, of all time behind it. And most people know at age 7 he was sent to St. Mary's Industrial School for Boys. And in 1914 he was signed to play minor league baseball for the Baltimore Orioles. But he was sold to the Red Sox. And by 1916, he had built a reputation as an outstanding pitcher who sometimes would hit the long ball, a feat very unusual for any player during the dead ball era. His name, George Herman Babe Ruth, the Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT, began his career as a star left-handed pitcher for the Red Sox, but achieved his greatest fame as a slugging outfielder for the New York Yankees. Ruth is regarded as one of the greatest sports heroes in American culture, considered by many to be the greatest baseball player of all time. And they did it without steroids. It was cigars and hot dogs and pretty much probably a beer over there, and then you hit the home runs, you know.
Nobody ever looked at Babe Ruth and said, that man is in fine shape. Nobody ever said that.
That guy, he's a bodybuilder. No, he was huge. And I went back and watched the Babe Ruth story. I was probably a week and a half ago, the old black and white one. Excellent movie. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I think it was called Ruth, and I think it was on Hulu. But what a great flick! I mean, it just went into so many things. The sensitivity and the love he had for children, the giving nature. Even though he was such a figure that was larger than life, very much taken advantage of a lot of times in his life because of his kindness. And as he got older, he started kind of falling apart a bit, and It was a shell of himself, and you hate to see a great like that go out that way. But a guy that was on top of it, man, for almost his whole career, and did so much for the game itself to me, and just a wonderful human being that we should celebrate. I think there should be a holiday for Babe Ruth's birthday, honestly.
That's a good idea.
Share it with Ronald Reagan, and let's put it in, and then, that's just my opinion. I'm a big Ruth fan, so I think what he did
You're
for
a
the
baseball
game.
guy,
Well, it's the same
yeah.
way with sports, football and basketball. I think the people that change the game, we should celebrate them. Change the game in good ways, So that's just my opinion. Sports is a huge part of our culture, and it's a large part of how we grow up. The competitive nature of the American spirit.
And some people rise above just playing a sport. I'm sorry, Babe Ruth is a cultural figure. Even if you don't like baseball, even if you don't know anything about baseball, you've heard of Babe Ruth.
That's right.
Everyone has.
Well, and he's just a dude, though. What can you say? When it comes down to it? He actually learned how to make shirts and was a pretty decent carpenter before he decided to focus in on baseball. But his dad, I think, ran a brothel basically. It was a bar / brothel, and the priest was like, "Hey man, I think we can do a better job with him than he's getting here." And his dad was like, "No man, he's got to serve the beers."
Yeah, he's still waiting those 3 tables over there. He can't go yet.
Yeah, and finally, he's like, "Daddy, I really want to do it," and his dad let him go, and the rest is history. There, kind of.
Yeah, and it wound up being the best move for.
And we think about that.
Yeah,
a lot of parents back in those days could, even though they wanted their children, and even though they worked jobs, could not afford to keep the children. And that was one of the issues with Babe Ruth. Wasn't that he wasn't wanted as much; it was that they could not take care of him up to the level that they believed he needed.
Well, when we come back, we might improve your level of being able to take care of things financially, because it's time to talk about the Mississippi Lottery. And we'll do that next on Mornings here on Super Talk Mississippi. Keep it here.
I'm gonna hit the highway. They call Highway 49.
From the Venable Glass Trafficking.
No filibuster. Just everything you need to know to start your day smarter. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
Got a good one to break to you today with the Mississippi Lottery. I don't know if you read ahead, Lance. They got a big game coming. We're going to talk about that in a minute. No jackpot winner in Lotto America. It's up to $14.98 million, the jackpot for tomorrow night's drawing, estimated amount. No jackpot winner in Powerball, but we had two big winners.
Mm-hmm.
Ticket purchased in Kosciuszko matched 4 out of the 5 white balls and the Powerball. That's $50,000. They had the dollar power play add-on. It doubled it up. They won $100,000. That's pretty good. Somebody else in Fayette matched 4 out of the 5 balls in the Powerball. And it was a $1 double play, $50,000 in the double play drawing. Good grief. The estimated jackpot, $102 million. I'll take the $100,000. I'll take the $50,000.
That'd be life-changing for me, you know.
I got so excited I had to stop and lean against the wall for a minute. I found a quarter the other day laying on the ground.
Exactly.
So any of this
if it was heads
good.
up, you're really feeling good. You know?
Mega Millions, same kind of story. That's the biggest jackpot we have right now. Drawing is tonight, of course. Estimated jackpot $346 million. We did have somebody bought a ticket in Tunica, matched 4 out of the 5 white balls and the mega ball. They won $10,000. The automatic multiplier doubled it up to $20,000. So they won. We had $20,000, $50,000, and $100,000 won, but no jackpot hits. That's what we keep telling you. You don't have to win the jackpot. We always focus on the jackpots. You can win big money just by playing. Mississippi Match 5, no jackpot winner. It's built back up to $150,000. But let's get to the one I want to talk about. You know, they're continuously...
I knew where you were going with this one.
Yeah. They're continuously introducing new games. Right now, in case you haven't seen them, they have a $1 scratch-off called Rapid Refund. Oh, that's good timing. Again, the marketing department at the Mississippi Lottery, phenomenal. Cannot brag on them enough. I got a $5 Lady Luck, a $10 Cash Fever, the $2 Three Stooges ticket. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Three Stooges scratch-off.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big Curly. That's my guy, you know.
But a brand new national draw game is coming up starting Sunday, February 22nd. Daily drawings every day. You could win $1 million a year for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's run through that math for you. That's $1 million a year, every year, until the time you no longer have any years left.
And that's 75.6 years for male right now.
Yeah. So take whatever age you are, subtract it from 76.5, and multiply it times $1 million. That's how much you could win.
Mm-hmm.
On average. But there's something kind of reassuring about the concept of, well, going to get $1 million, and if I spend all of that, oh, well, got another one coming next year.
See, I'm one of those old schools. I'm like, I don't know how long I'm going to live, so why don't you just write me that check now?
Yeah.
What kind of discount am I taking here? The old J.G. Wentworth type deal. You need money now. You need money now. Are you tied up in an annuity? They're like, all right, so that's $23 million for me, $24 million. Let's just say actuarially speaking, or would you take the $18 million in hand? What would you do? Would you go $1 million a year? Or?
I'd probably take the $18 million in hand because I'd wind up with even more money after investment.
That's right. That's the way I look at it too. I'll go out and buy me a nail shop and a little hot dog stand and a car wash, and become a magnate here in Mississippi. People will be calling me Duff before long.
Be calling you, I don't know, might be calling you the Wiener Man if it's the hot dog stands that take off.
I love a hot dog stand, dude. I would keep them in business if we had them around here.
You got to be careful about all of that. A couple of other winners I wanted to point out. One in particular, Crystal Springs, a man from Florence bought a $5 scratch off the Lady Luck. I talked about that one just a moment ago. It's a white ticket. Won $10,000. He spent $5. He won $10,000. Nice. That's a good day. I don't care what else happens that day. It's a good day. It's fantastic. So get ready to win yourself $1 million a year for the rest of your life. Here's my question for you. You win $1 million a year every year for the rest of your life. Are you retiring? Are you done at that point?
Yeah, I'm done, man. I mean, as far as working for got-tos, right. And do it for fun at that point. Yeah, I might come in tomorrow. Yeah.
I will not. I'm just telling you right now. I will vanish in a puff of smoke like a ninja, and no one will ever hear from me again.
World traveler, Dave Hughes.
So if you world traveler my behind, I'm going to be at home in the recliner. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just, and that includes work. The store, I'll have people for that.
Yeah, you'll point over there and say, I need that done.
Excuse me, staff.
Garçon.
I need some more Oreos, and then they'll just take care of it.
Sir, do you want them with ice cream, or do you just want them straight?
Yes, that's correct. 2 plates, please. I don't want much. News.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Pour yourself a cup of coffee and get the Magnolia State's most important news of the day. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Sorry, I had to do it today.
We continue.
A little inside baseball there.
Well, it's never too early. It's never too early. As a matter of fact, towards the end of the show, we're planning on going ahead and doing the New Year's countdown to 2027.
Well, happy Halloween. We want to go on and get that one out of the way since yesterday we made sure that you're ready for Thanksgiving this year. We'll be doing this each and every day for the next week to, just get ahead of the game. But a little funny from yesterday, I accidentally played a Thanksgiving clip when Gobble, Gobble, Gobble came on, and we had quite a few texters that were like, what in the world? Am I listening to a repeat? So I had to play a little, the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown today for you, just in case you guys were waking up late and thought this was Halloween. So
the current schedule where the days are both flying by and creeping past all at the same time, we certainly hope that you had a great 4th of July weekend last weekend.
Thank you. Yeah. Nailed it, brother. Love it.
The show here, mornings, presented by Community Bank, where they're more than just a place to manage your money. They're your neighbors, your partners, and your trusted financial advisors. For decades, they've been rooted in our community, helping families, small businesses, and individuals achieve their dreams. Whether it's opening your first savings account, planning for a brighter future, or growing your business, they are here for you every step of the way. They're dedicated to their customers, committed to your success, and always here when you need them. At Community Bank, rooted in our community, member FDIC. Are you getting ready to make some mobile sports bets there, Lance?
Probably not. Probably
continues
not.
forward? See, I'm not a betting guy.
Yeah, I
never have been.
I worked in finance for so long, and it's just I've never been very good at the betting on games and stuff. I get too emotionally attached. All of a sudden it's a game that you got to watch, and everything matters. And I'm not good with that. I spent so long, I guess what you would say, investing in the markets that I'm a little risk averse when it comes to pouring money into, gambling and such like that. It's just not my thing. But I know a lot of people get a lot of satisfaction and are good at it and make money doing it. So can't fault them for having fun and making money while you're doing it.
It's your money, knock yourself out. If you get broke and need groceries, don't come asking me. If the bets went bad. If they went good, I'll come asking you. That's the way this works, right? But that is getting a little bit of traction in the state legislature this time around.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. It's been something on the dockets for several years, and a very vocal constituency out there that continues questioning why we have not passed that yet, and maybe we'll see some action on it this year.
Well, House Speaker Jason White was on with Gerard yesterday on Middays, and they were talking about this particular piece of legislation, and I thought he laid it out perfectly. He said, people are getting mobile sports bets in despite the fact that it's not legal in Mississippi.
Sure.
Why not get that money for our establishments here in the state and regulate it and get a revenue stream to prop up and deal with the problems with PERS. This is the same argument that was made for the Mississippi lottery. Because, there was quite a bit of resistance for a while against bringing the lottery to Mississippi, and everybody pointed out, well, everyone's going across the state line. They're taking a trip on Saturday and buying tickets in another state, and we're losing that money. That's kind of stupid. And now, look at the tens and tens of millions of dollars that have been put towards roads and bridges and infrastructure and everything else because we did that. So I see the speaker's point here. It's the same situation as the lottery, and that worked out well.
You have to adapt. Life is constant change. As I'll tell Richard all the time, there's never only one solution to a problem. And when people tell you that ain't how we do stuff around here, you don't do business with those people for long because they're going to be out of business at some point. You have to adapt. And so whatever the best thing for Mississippi is, for casinos, for our constituency, for revenue, I love hearing the debate. And that's what I hope we pride ourselves on and do a good job here is bringing the conversation to a head, allowing people to hear how our leaders see things and how they go about this. And being a part of that conversation on the text line where you guys can, let us know what you think. And we try to explain and bring that to the leaders that we have on as well. So, I love the debate. And it's great that we have that debate because I don't know the right answer. Do you? I don't know. I know that people want it, and that seems to be a very big piece of this.
I think that's a fallacy. We always default to looking for the right answer, the correct thing to do. No, we're all making this up as we go on this planet. And if you're going to sit there with a serious expression on your face and explain to me that you don't just make something up every day as you make your way through life as an adult, you're lying.
Well, that's how our country was founded, right?
Yes. They literally made it up as they went.
Just kind of said, let's figure this thing out as we go. This is a new experiment, and we have to adapt, and that's the American spirit. We have to continue to change and adapt.
We have developed an attitude of absolutism that I think is poisoning the planet, honestly, but definitely the country. There is no absolute right and absolute wrong. We live in the gray zone. We always have, and sometimes you got to kind of feel around in the dark to find the light switch. I just hope this isn't another session where we wind up. We've had these in the past, not every one, but we have had instances where we have people talking past each other, not talking to each other.
Yeah. Well, and it's always, you're looking at your surrounding states as well. One of our listeners from the 601 proclaims, we need it legalized now. When Alabama legalizes casinos and gambling, we will lose a lot of revenue. And, those are, we have these thoughts that come through, and people have very, very logical opinions on this from one side or the other. So, it's I'm always love when we get into these conversations, and it shows what people are thinking and what our leaders are thinking. And Jason White has done a great job in his tenure as the speaker in explaining how the House thinks, how they go about things, and what, and I think open architecture, they've been very good about that.
I'm going to throw out one suggestion here that I think we need to look at more. But again, absolutism is poisoning the well on just about everything. Here's a thought. Why don't we put it in with a time limit? A renewal limit. Mm-hmm. It's in for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, we take a look at it and see what it's doing. If it's not any good, we don't renew it. If it is good, we renew it.
I think that's a great point, Dave. I mean, government has gotten into the position of where it has to be funded. This has to be the way it always is going to be. And then you just keep adding that dollar or millions to it each time. And I'm with you on that. I think that performance is extremely important in government. And I believe that anything we do has to have that mindset of some kind of performance efficiency, some type of metric to grade it. And if it's not working, throw it away, start over. These are not institutional systems that have to be here forever and ever and ever, infinitum. Let's get rid of some stuff that doesn't work and let's bring things in that do work.
But that's how everything is treated these days at every level, municipal, state, federal, planet Earth. This is the way we're doing it now, and we're going to do it this way forever. No, sometimes you have to change course. You have to drop the plan and go with a new plan because the old plan wasn't working. We have lost the ability to do that.
Well, and I want to make one correlation here, and I think this is something that I read early this morning, and I went, man, it kind of blows my mind. But even when things are going good, you still have to challenge yourself. Example, the John Carr era of Starkville High School football has come to an end after just one season, a very successful one. A guy that could have come back, had a great job. What did he choose to do? Pursuing a new venture, one at the highest level of football, where he is joining Todd Monken's inaugural Cleveland Browns staff. This is a guy that was coaching high school football, a very comfortable job, very successful. And he goes, no, I've been successful here. Now I want to jack this up a level. I have dreams. And I want to go there with it. So again, even when you're successful, you can look at things in a different light.
I'm going to say this. In my mind, it is, when you're successful, more important to be nimble and shake things up and try to change and grow and continue to improve than it is when you're losing.
Amen, brother.
When you're losing, well, we got to get back to the fundamentals. We got to get back to basics. You hear this all the time.
Losing is a disease.
But notice it's always get back to. Winners, you talk to big winners over the years. They didn't do the same things the same way ad infinitum, and every time they came up with a new process or a new play, well, we're doing that from now on. Mm-hmm. Winners don't think like that.
Yep.
And I think we need to get away from that mindset.
Amen. Great. I mean, perfect way of saying it, brother.
Just my thoughts on that. We all know what that's worth. But at least I can share these thoughts and plenty others. Starla Brown with AFP Mississippi, the director. I haven't talked to her in a while. We've got her joining us coming up next here on Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi. Keep it here.
Lord, I know good and well that her sister will.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Shaping Mississippi politics each morning. Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Mornings, on a Friday morning on Super Talk Mississippi. Dave Hughes here, and also here joining us, the Mississippi Director of Americans for Prosperity, the one and only Starla Brown, live and in color in the big chair. How you doing this morning, Starla? I haven't talked to you in a while.
I know, it's been a hot minute, hasn't it? Listen, I'm doing great. it's session, so we're tired, and already
Tired, stressed.
stressed, all those good things. But we still got a few days to go, a couple of months actually, really. So
I wasn't going to say that because you seemed so happy that it was just a few days.
Right.
Well, there is a lot of stress involved in this when you're interested and you feel like you have a stake in what's going on, isn't there?
Absolutely. And, for us, our stake is the people of Mississippi. So we are advocating for them. And hopefully we actually had a really good little piece that's already been signed by the governor. It was House Bill 3. It was around certificate of need laws. I mean, we have a lot more to do, and we still have some bills coming out there or that we're working through. Some got dropped by the wayside, died in the death of committee day this past week. But this bill actually raises the threshold for some categories about how much you're going to spend. So it doubled in some cases, so like even a brick and mortar piece, those kind of things, before it triggers you even having to apply for a certificate of need law. So we're pretty excited about that. It's an incremental step. We've got a lot more to do. There was a great bill out there. Obviously it died in committee, which would have just done away with them altogether and not have to have a permission slip from the government to open or expand healthcare facilities, which drives up the cost.
Well, and the thing is, and we've talked about this before, functionally, the way it works is not even really a permission slip from the government. It's a permission slip from your competitors.
Right. That's true. So many times the competitors take people to task in the court system and sue them to be able to open. I don't know that Walgreens and CVS, and I know we're not advertising for them, but a lot of times you see them on the same corners across from each other in certain areas, and I don't think they fall under that. And I don't think our hospitals, I don't think our clinics, I don't think a piece of equipment, any of that should fall under that. Our mental health facilities especially as well. So,
is the Certificate of Need program, because it is a national thing, is the Certificate of Need program the solution to a problem that no longer exists in the form it existed in when they came up with it back in the 70s?
Yeah, and over time it became unnecessary. It's really archaic law, if you will. Every president from Reagan to Biden and then to Trump again in his second term have said these need to go. And so we're just hopeful that we'll eventually get there. It's been a tough battle. There's a lot of people who come and actually present to the legislator about how great their organization and company is and what a great job they do. And then in the next breath say, I can't be great if you get rid of certificate of need laws. Don't quite understand that. I think competition breeds greatness, or if you will. So it's been interesting, yeah. So
that's an interesting that's an interesting strategy to brag on yourself. I'm great, but I didn't do it.
Right.
That's kind of what you're saying there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I can't be great if you give me any competition. And so, look, competition drives down the cost of healthcare, and at the end of the day, healthcare is about the patient. It's not about all of these monopolies and special interest that we have. And so, we hope that one day we'll get there for more, but we're continuing to make some incremental steps, and this was a good one. And so there's a lot of people out there who might have an interest in something who just won't, have to make that application now that threshold is higher. So.
Now, of course, the legislation to just do away with it died in committee, but there are still some other pieces of legislation that deal with certificate of need that are still alive, right?
Right, there are, and as long as those are still alive. So we're working through that, to make sure. We also had an amazing thing that happened. So, was it 2-3 years? It was longer than before I got here. It was already filed. There was a lawsuit that was won in the court system around moratoriums, right, which is like a cap on how many of something. And it was in home health care. And so really proud of the team of people who worked on this over the years. It was a long time getting that ruling from the judge, but basically he said these moratoriums, they're pretty much absurd and they don't exist. They shouldn't exist. So this was only in this one area, but there are some more that are still out there. So hey, if you want, we need to get rid of them, and those should not exist either, right? There shouldn't be saying, oh, you can only have so many of something, so or put a cap on how much you can provide a certificate of need. So.
It's so funny because over the years I have had conversations here on the air and off air with so many people about certificate of need. It comes up in a conversation. I've yet to have anybody advocate for it to me. So it's a little puzzling why it's so persistent and hanging on. Does this go back to what I was kind of talking about in the last segment? Inertia is our biggest enemy sometimes. We've always done it this way, so we'll just keep doing it this way. Is that the problem, Starla?
I guess so, but I'd also say it is up to the legislature to resolve this. And we've come very close a few times to eliminate some of these laws. It's gone all the way to conference a couple of years ago. We had a great bill last year that just really got shredded over in the Senate and kind of replaced with House Bill 3, which is an okay bill. The threshold piece is really good. It's an incremental step, but it didn't really, do away with the laws the way that we're talking about, which is just get rid of them. We don't need them anymore. And so unfortunately, sometimes a chair or a couple of individuals, when you get to conference, come down to not allowing it to happen, even though you might have had a almost unanimous vote in both chambers. This is what can happen.
Well, we'll wait and see. They're going to have to hurry because Starla very clearly told us there's just a few days left in this session.
Right.
That's hopeful thinking because there's a lot of other things to cover and to talk about. What else are you keeping your eye on right now?
Yeah, so there's a great bill that moved out of the House this week. It's called Portable Benefits, and it's moving over to the Senate, and we look forward to the Business Finance Committee over there taking it up, and we'll be talking, hopefully more with them over the next week. But this doesn't cost the state money. It's voluntary. But what it does, we have a whole segment of our economy of independent contractors. It can range from anything from the people who are delivery drivers to, people who drive for, one of the companies that transports me to the airport sometimes, right? And then there's the independent contractors who could be a hairstylist who rents her chair in a salon, but she doesn't have health care through that. It could be a real estate agent. There's numerous places where independent contractors work in the state, and so this allows the hiring partner to contract with them, and it's not mandatory. It's voluntary on both ends. But if the hiring partner wanted to, so that they can maintain that flexible work status, which is really important to a lot of people, especially this is a second job, they could set up an account, and it could be used for a lot of wonderful things. The hiring partner would contribute some extra money in that. You can contribute. You could save it for retirement. You could utilize it just for, paid time off, which you're not given in most of those scenarios, or you could use it to purchase, go out into the market and purchase health care. So we hope this will get through the Senate and get passed. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's not costing, a lot of money for everybody, and it's voluntary, but it would give these independent contractors a benefit that follows them, not the hiring partner. So if they were working, for a particular individual delivery company and they switch, that count goes with them to the next hiring partner.
That makes a lot of sense and sounds like it would be an advancement.
Yeah.
And I once again, I find myself in the position where I can't imagine what the argument against that would be.
I don't think that we should have an argument against it. I think it's good for these individuals. We have a couple of bills that are out there about school boards being elected. We're supporting
I tell you what, if you can hold that thought through the break. Lance, scoot over there and lock the door so she can't leave. We've got Starla Brown with us, the Mississippi director of AFP, talking about the legislative session that is currently ongoing. And by the way, before the break, as is our new tradition here on the show, Starla, I'd like to go ahead right now and wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
We got it together, I'm telling you. We'll continue with Starla right after this on SuperTalk Mississippi Mornings. Keep it here.
This is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Mornings with Richard Cross, here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
What else?
And always on the SuperTalk app.
On your mark, ready, set, let's go. Dance floor pro, I know, you know, I go psycho when my new joint hit. Just can't sit, gotta get jiggy with it. Ooh, that's it, now honey, honey, come ride. DKNY, all up in my eyes. You got a Prada bag with a lot of stuff in it. Give it to your friend, let's spin. Everybody looking at me, glancing a kid. Wishing they was dancing a jig here with this handsome.
Lance getting funky this morning with the beds, and that's okay. We've got Starla Brown, the Mississippi State Director of AFP, who has all the correct priorities. I would like to point this out. Her profile image, background image on X says, "Love is the most important thing in the world, but baseball is pretty good too."
There you go.
Atta girl, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You've got good priorities. Yes. I like that.
Yes, baseball is very important. Braves fan all the way, lifer. Yes. So there you go. We have that in common.
It was Henry Hank Aaron, Bad Hank's birthday yesterday.
Oh,
that was his early name.
I didn't even realize
Bad
that.
Hank. Yeah, before he became the Hammer and Hank, he was known as Bad Hank.
Ah, there you go.
No, that was an awful name for Hank Aaron.
Right.
That's the last word you'd associate with him. Now, having said that, we still have some bad, more in the Michael Jackson usage of that term, meaning topics still live in the Mississippi legislature right now. And you mentioned one of them's been a hot topic for several years, and here we go again, involving various things with the education system in Mississippi. I had to cut you off because we were up against the break. Go for it.
Yeah, so look, we're not deterred as an organization. We continue in this fight. We adamantly believe in education savings accounts. We believe in the portability piece, or open enrollment to go to one public school to another. House Bill 2 was a great bill in that I put in a wonderful phase-in for education savings accounts, taking into consideration kids in lower economic communities as well as, everybody eventually. A lot of states have phased in their education savings accounts. Please don't confuse those with vouchers. I know that's the term the opposition and those of the teacher union mindset like to use. But a voucher is like, hey, here's some money, go to a private school. And that's not what an education savings account does. It's much, much more flexible, allows for a lot of things, even therapy for kids who might need it. So we like to make sure we're using the right terminology when we're talking about what we're advocating for. But at the end of the day, there's still time in session. There are still things. I don't know what that's all going to look like at this point. I think we're all looking at different considerations. There's still some bills to pass out of the House, and there's some bills from the Senate who've come over to the House. And so how those are addressed and what we do going forward. But one thing I will say for us, we are going to continue to advocate for education savings accounts. We're going to continue to advocate for parents and their children, and we are adamant that the opportunity to have a say, if we believe that our tax dollars, not public money, because there's no such thing as public money, it's taxpayer dollars, should go towards the education of a child. And if we believe that's a proper role of the government in the state, we also believe those parents have a say in where their child goes to school.
Now, we have also some legislation that's being bandied about to make all school board members elected positions, all of them.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
We support that bill. I believe that Look, a lot of it just brings things into uniformity because we've got appointments in some places. There are actually members who have districts where they're elected and districts where they're appointed within their district. I think the school board members should be elected. I think that's another way that parents can have a say. I hear a lot of people talk about, well, decisions should be made at the local level. Well, I think then constituents should have and voters should have a say in that. So yeah, we support it.
Well, one of the arguments against that, though, Starla, is, but what if the voters make the wrong choice? You've heard it. You know what I'm talking about.
Sure. But you know what? We have a democratic process and we live in a republic, and so voters are going to have a say, just like they're going to have a say in 2027 around their legislators. So people will often hold people accountable for their votes. Sometimes they're loud about it and say what they're going to do, and others are sort of that quiet majority that are saying, like, I don't like what happened, and if I have a choice, I'm going to make a different one. So that's how it works. That's the process.
Now, we had, aside from House Bill 2, which I'm sure will be the top of your list, beyond that, though, we had over 1,700 bills that died in committee. Was there anything else that went away in that process that you really wish hadn't?
Yeah. So let me add one positive thing that's still alive, though, that I did forget in the last segment. There's also, when we talked about portable benefits, there's also another bill. It's called Work and Save, and it actually deals with a different segment of the economy, and that's people who are not independent contractors, but are working for perhaps an entity that just doesn't offer you health care or offer savings. Work and Save can be a great retirement program, mostly for those who don't have retirement because they're not in that role. So we're supporting that also. Just wanted to point that out there. It's a good bill still alive. But what I will say was the most disappointing that died and didn't get the discussion it deserved were a couple of bills. One was around something called judicial deference, and the other was called, it was Senate Bill 2646, which is admin rules. So a lot of people know administrative rules around what's called the REINS Act, if people have heard of that. We're going to work from now to 2027. We expect to bring these bills back, but we're going to have a lot more discussion around the state. And we sort of dipped our toe in the water with a senator on the admin rules bill, and we were surprised at the I would just say overwhelming response of people not wanting unelected, faceless bureaucrats in these agencies and boards and councils and everything else that are making rules in our state. We were surprised at the feedback we got when we just stepped out and said, hey, this is a good thing. So there's different ways to approach this. You can set thresholds of like a dollar threshold, but judicial deference would take away. If I don't know if you're familiar with the Loper Bright case at the Supreme Court, which overturned what was called the Chevron doctrine, right? Mm-hmm. And so agencies here in the state should not, it's kind of like the fox watching the hen house. If they're able to interpret judicial, without a judge and, laws. And so and rules that they make, and then be able to also interpret them judicially. So we want to put that back in the hands of judges, and we want to put back in the hands of the legislators these rules that become laws and happen and don't often get the oversight or review that they deserve by our legislators. So there's different ways that we can approach this legislation. But I will say this: I've put a lot of bills out there over time, and that first 24, 48 hours of talking about this, it was wildly popular on both sides of the aisle. So we look forward to talking about this for the next year and having these bills come back. Let's kind of rein in the admin state.
When you step up to the plate, you're disqualified from being the umpire.
Yes.
You don't get to call the balls and strikes while you're being pitched to.
Good baseball term. There you go. That's exactly it. So.
And that's kind of the situation you're talking about. And it's puzzling sometimes when you have something like this that you get such an overwhelming response on one side. But we still need to talk about it. That's a fascinating part of the process, but it is a part of the process. And to be fair, there are a lot of little working parts behind the scenes that have to be dealt with in that. But I'm sure you're going to be all over that, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely we are. I mean, I think that for us, that's going to be, one of our top priorities as we, move out. We've lost that ability because they died in committee. But we want to, we were able to start the conversation. And I think that's important. You don't get everything you want the first year you put it out, but we are going to be talking about this at all levels, because I think that the people in Mississippi deserve to know, they don't go to the polls and vote for a faceless bureaucrat. They vote for an individual to come and represent them. And when that representative is not able to have some oversight to the extent that they should over a rule that's made, by a board somewhere, that then impacts us and impacts us financially, right? So, I mean, we want to make sure that these things don't just sort of slide and slip through. We want to make sure there's oversight there.
Well, it's still early. It doesn't feel that way
right.
in the session. We got a lot of daylight between us and the sine die moment. Is there one thing, just very quickly, other than what we've talked about, is there anything else, just in 30 seconds or less, that you're excited and hoping to see go through?
Well, again, the portable benefits piece for us, we're excited about that. But I do believe that we're going to have some form of education freedom this session, and we look forward to that. So we're excited. We're going to stay in the fight. We're not ready to say that this is all done.
Starla Brown, the Mississippi Director of Americans for Prosperity. I always enjoy talking to you. We have a good time.
We do. Hope to see you again soon, Dave.
Well, I love talking to you because it's always nice during an interview when one of us is knowledgeable. And you filled that gap nicely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon. We continue on this Friday morning here on Mornings right after this. Keep it here.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. This is how we do it. La, la, la. This is how we do it. It's Friday night.
I just now looked up at the screen. Holy cow.
My man, Vanilla Dave use ice.
Stop, collaborate,
and listen.
And listen. Got to do all three, though, or you're messing up. We're on Mornings, presented by Community Bank, rooted in our community. CommunityBank.net. Glad to be back with you this week. I appreciate Richard Cross filling in for me last Friday. Sorry. I couldn't resist. I got something interesting for you. Let me just drop this. We've had a ton of conversation and scandal going on about the Epstein files, right? There's been a load of conversation about it. Something interesting revealed in the Epstein files. He was, and this is in the actual files and the emails back and forth, he was a big Fortnite player, the video game, using the username Little Saint Jeff 1. And it was listed. It was talked about in some of the emails. So this is not theoretical. That was the fact. Little Saint Jeff 1 on Fortnite has been active every year. Up to yesterday, it's still active. Somebody was playing yesterday using that account. Then somebody went and checked this, noticed this, and now all of a sudden, that account has gone private and you can't see any of the stats.
Conspiracies.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there because all of this, what conclusions you draw from it, yeah, that's conspiracy and hypothetical. The facts are the facts, though. As of yesterday, that account was logged in playing a game because you can check all of that. Battlemetrics.com is the website where you can go to do it. we know it was active. We can see, I think it was 10 hours worth last year in 2025 that it was played.
But he's not supposed to be alive.
Yes. And I mean, it could be somebody else that, I don't know, he left them his account in the will. I don't know. Just find it interesting. Very interesting. Every time you think you got everything figured out, it goes goofy. There's always something new.
He enjoys playing video games with 12-year-old Chinese people. That's what basically you can digest from that. A grown man likes to play Fortnite. How old is that dude? Or was that dude?
That is an extreme generalization. Some of them are in other countries.
I love it when you'll hear the mother in the background hollering at the kid to get off in a foreign language and come eat dinner or something. That's always good stuff. You know?
Yes. Now, I will say this. Plenty of adults play Fortnite. It's not that unusual. I've played Fortnite before.
I'm kidding.
Having said that, the majority of it, yeah, you're right. You're 100% accurate.
I want to go back to Pong. And then, have an online. Is that available where we can play Pong and online with some kid from wherever? Pong was actually released yesterday. Atari was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the question I had was, do you remember the second game that came in the pack? You got Pong, but there was another one that was packaged in there with it.
Ooh, that's a good question. Was it? Let's see, Pong. That was way back. That was early. Was it that battle game?
Yes,
the tank game?
You got it, brother. Yeah, Combat.
That was it.
Yeah, if you
think of the name of it.
If you bought the kit from Sears, it was named like Target Practice or something. But yeah, for the first 4 or 5 years, you got Pong, which was the training game for the founders of Atari, Bushnell and the other guy, and then Combat was on there, and it was a really good game. I mean, it was way more open than Pong, which was one thing.
I will just say this, for better or worse. I am old enough to where at the local theater, I put quarters in a Pong arcade game to play it.
Oh, yeah, I lived at those places, man. The arcade was a great place.
It had just come out. Everybody, it was like the only game in there. It was the very beginning of arcade games and the explosion in gaming. But you had to pay 25 cents. Now, we're talking about the mid-'70s.
Yeah, and that's when there was real silver still in the quarter.
Right. You translate the value of that quarter to today's dollars, that was $17 million that you were putting in there. Roughly. I'm estimating, but roughly.
Parents worked hard for that money.
Yes. Yes, just feeding those quarters in as quick as they would go.
There's nothing like, though, playing back when they went to the seated games and you had the Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man and you had the little ball rollers and you would touch that thing and it would just be pizza grease from wherever.
They had those at the Pizza Hut.
Yeah. It was like nobody cleaned those things ever. I'm surprised we didn't all have hand-to-mouth disease.
Who says we don't? I'm beginning to wonder, keeping up with the news every day. There's something going on here. I'm not sure. We have Fox News. We have SuperTalk Mississippi News. And when we come back, going to switch gears to a serious subject with Sandy Middleton, the Center for Violence Prevention. We'll be talking to her next on Mornings here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Keep it here.
You were my fears. You were my fears. You got the bomb on me. You turned me out. You turned me on.
From Sumner to Summit to Summerall, Richard has something for you. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Pump it up while your feet are stumping, and the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd are jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, 'cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. Oh, I'm glad you stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight. Make my day.
We seem to have settled into a theme with the bumper music this morning. I'm not complaining. It's all good stuff. We had the Gap Band earlier, so we're just kind of.
I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing my best.
You got some Daz Band in there somewhere.
Probably, yeah. I've been DJing all this. I've just been picking hits, baby, and rocking and rolling with it, or techno in it.
That's the way to roll. Well, we are joined now, a longtime friend of the show and guest, the Center for Violence Prevention, Sandy Middleton, joins us now on this Friday morning. Sandy, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. I learned stuff every day, and I learned during the break that you were also a Pong addict.
Absolutely. I mean, we all had to sit down and play our Pong and play our tank and shoot the little missiles as the thing went back and forth. I mean, yeah, we probably shouldn't talk that much about that because everybody will know how old we are.
No, I think they probably suspect already. My beard color alone is tipping everybody off to that fact, but you're right. So we'll just move on. Interesting fact that a lot of people don't realize: it's Super Bowl weekend. That's a bad time for human trafficking, isn't it?
Yes, well, every time is a bad time for human trafficking. But we do know that anytime there is a concentration of people who are there to have fun and have money to spend, the people who sell sex and promote trafficking are going to be there.
Now, you and I have talked many times. The Super Bowl not here. We don't have any teams involved in it. Not quite as big of an issue for us this time around. But you and I have talked before. People are surprised when you tell them how much of a human trafficking problem we have in the state of Mississippi, because you think, oh, that's for the bigger places. That's where, all the people are. That's not the case at all, is it?
No, it's not. And I think what people have to understand is that familial trafficking is a big problem everywhere. And familial trafficking can take place within any home. So, we see those cases a lot. And then you certainly have just the criminal networks in different types of towns, whether it's rural areas or, just a small community.
I want to make sure we underline this and we put it in the simplest terms possible. Familial trafficking, that means a relative is selling somebody for sex, basically, right?
Yes, that's exactly what that means. And it could be a situation where maybe a mother has a drug addiction and she sells her 15-year-old daughter in exchange for drugs. And so any transactional situation that especially involves a minor or a child is immediately sex trafficking.
And that concept is horrific because you think about, if there's one person on planet Earth you're supposed to be able to trust, it's your mom. That's a truism. And it's just horrifying to think that sometimes, no, you can't trust her either. And that's kind of what this exemplifies.
That's right. And it's just a breakdown of the family. And it's just the saddest thing ever to watch a child have to go through that sort of situation. And it's the recovery and the healing from that type of exploitation takes a very long time.
If it ever completely happens. I would argue it would never completely happen. That's a life-changing thing that happens. But the step that comes before all of the healing is stopping it. That's the first thing that we have to do, and that's the hardest part, isn't it, in a way?
It is. Well, the first thing we have to do is, as you said earlier, we have to be aware that it is in our own communities, that nobody, no area is absent. I mean, the crime isn't absent from any area. And so first thing we have to do is acknowledge that fact, and then we have to prepare. We have to train our law enforcement. We have to ask our prosecutors and our district attorneys to move forward with prosecution on the cases. We have to inform the community what to look for and what to pay attention to. So it's really a pretty large, comprehensive response that's necessary to combat this problem.
How would you, if you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 100, how would you rate how we're doing in that department in terms of the prosecution and getting those people that are perpetrating this awful crime and making them accountable for what they've done. How are we doing on that, in your opinion?
Well, it's slow. It's slow. And I think that part of the issue with that is that a lot of DAs don't have the training they need to prosecute these cases. And I get it that a lot of them think, well, if I can get them in jail for another crime, then, we've at least got them off the street. And I agree with that. But at the same time, it's important to prosecute the human trafficking charges in order, for us to really continue to raise awareness on these issues. So, and we all know that big court, as we call it, moves fairly slow. They only, when you look at, like, for example, I've got some stats that we can talk about this morning, and, we had like almost 2,500 tips on minor victims of human trafficking over the last 5 years. And when you compare that with the numbers that actually got prosecuted, it's just pretty sad.
So that's an average of 500 a year. Some years higher, some years lower, but that's an average over the last 5 years of 500 tips a year. What is the rate? Do you know what the rate is? How many of those tips pan out and lead to an arrest or some type of intervention?
Well, we're working on that to try to determine, how to follow the cases. But the issue is that, in youth court, everything's closed. And so these tips that I'm talking about were specific to minors. And so it's difficult for us to get that information, but we're trying to figure out how to do that.
Well, and I think the most important point that you made there was something I was going to bring up. When you arrest them for something else and convict them for some other crime associated or unassociated to the human trafficking, well, you got them off the street. That's great. But there is a difference between reading a headline about someone getting convicted in your area of a drug offense or anything like that versus reading about them being convicted of a human trafficking crime in terms of public awareness and making people aware, because a lot of people still aren't aware that this is an ongoing daily problem in the state of Mississippi right here.
That's right. And typically what happens when cases are public and you hear about prosecution of human trafficking cases, you hear the specifics around the case. You hear what happened to the victim and some of the things that they experienced. And all of that is a part of educating the community about, the fact that it is here and it is real and it's horrific.
We see, and Facebook is a hotbed for this, but we see people all the time talking about, me and my daughter were followed around by 3 men in this store. That's a different category, but some of that still goes on in Mississippi as well, doesn't it? As far as people just grabbing victims.
We don't see much of that. In most of these cases, they're either exploited by their family, or like we talked about earlier. And the gaming that you had mentioned earlier, some of the worst cases that we've seen, minor victims were recruited through Roblox and other online gaming platforms. And so, the problem is real, and it's there are a lot of people that have a lot of access to our children.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm sure you saw this. It's not related to Mississippi, but they just had a case over the last week in Florida where a couple of sisters, 12 and 15, met this guy on Roblox, an American national, but he's Chinese, who was in Omaha, Nebraska. And they talked for a while, and he would send them presents and have pizza delivered and whatnot. Just a classic typical grooming situation. And he wound up driving overnight straight through all the way from Omaha down to Florida and took them and left. They caught them in Georgia. Roblox, Well, the FCC won't allow me to call it what I'd like to call it, Sandy, because there's certain words we can't say, but I have a feeling you would agree with those words if I did say them out loud. We'll talk more about that in just a second, because this speaks to a very important thing that parents can do to help keep their kids safe that I don't think a lot of them are doing. We're talking to Sandy Middleton, the Center for Violence Prevention, and we'll continue doing that when we come back here on Mornings on Super Talk.
And you feel like such a fool. You let her walk away.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Morning, partner. The sun is up, the coffee is on, and you're starting your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross, here on Super Talk, Mississippi.
See if this works a little bit better. We can dream, right? I'm not sure. Is that any better for you, Sandy?
Yes.
Okay, good,
Yes,
good.
much better.
Hopefully that will continue to
Marky
be better.
Mark fixed that for us, yeah.
Yes, it was Marky Mark.
Funky Munch always does.
Well, we didn't even have to call the Funky Bunch in. It was just Mark himself. He fixed the whole thing.
I'm happy. I like Marky Mark.
Oh, do you? Is it because of the music or because of the Calvin Klein ads?
I better not answer that question.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You it could be used against you at some point in the future. Sandy, we were talking right before we went to the break about the Roblox case this week in Florida, and you had mentioned Roblox. That is a cesspool. I've decided to go with that word. We have several countries that have banned that game completely inside their country. That is kind of a breeding ground, but it's not just Roblox, and it's not even just games. We hear about that a lot because that's, you find a lot of kids in games. Every social media platform out there, Instagram, TikTok, any of them, are carrying the potential to lead your child to someplace they're not going to want to be. And the first step to preventing that is to know what they're doing. Would that be a fair statement, you think?
That's 100% true and fair. Yes, parents have to be involved with what their kids are doing, and part of that is just the realization of the danger that's out there. And one of the things that I like to do when I speak to a group of teenagers is ask them what their settings are on their social media apps, and they all say public. And so, and they think that's fun, that everybody everywhere can hear what they've got to say and see what clothes they've got on and all of that. And what we know is that there are people lying in wait all over the world, not just here in this area, but all over the world, who are looking for vulnerable kids online that they can start to groom and bring in. And the scary thing is that, used to, the grooming took place on a one-on-one basis. I mean, and typically there were protectors around children, whether it was parents or Sunday school teachers or whoever, that would recognize those instances and say, hey, stop. Don't be talking to my child, or either tell the child, stay away from this person. But now it's all isolated from the parents. And so if they're not really paying attention to what their children are doing online, then they're definitely vulnerable to any of this sort of potential grooming. So one of the things that I like, that I hear that a lot of parents and grandparents are doing, is when their kids are playing, they make them turn it on to where they can hear the conversation. So, maybe mom's in the kitchen cooking dinner and the kids playing Roblox or whatever, and they can hear the conversation that the children are having online with each other. And that's very helpful, because I mean, that way you hear exactly what's being said, and you can engage or stop it or whatever. So, and using using some of the blocks and everything that some of the apps provide is, could be helpful. But we'll see what happens with what Congress is looking at, and hopefully they'll hold some of these apps accountable.
Well, in the terms of social media, one of the easiest things I think any parent or guardian can do, follow your kid's account. But there's a secret catch to that. You have to know about all their accounts, which brings me to, I think, the golden rule of thumb for parents. If your kids aren't complaining that you're far too nosy, you're not doing it right.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Because, that's your job. It's not your job to be their friend. It's not your job to be their buddy. It's your job to keep them safe. And that's the only way you can really pull that off, is to know exactly what's happening to them and what kind of approaches are being used, and how they're possibly being manipulated by someone, because it goes on all day, every day.
And the sad thing is that, so many children don't have that family structure. And we've talked about that so many times, the vulnerabilities of our foster children who are moved from place to place and, have different families. And a lot of times the actual foster parents are exploitive. And so, and as we know, the traffickers and these people that are looking to exploit our children, they look for this vulnerability. And if there's not the loving protection of family or, some part of society in their lives, then, it's open season on them. And that's the majority of what we see in working with, with the minor victims that we're working with. So many of these kids are just throwaway kids. I mean, they're just out there, and, some of them are on the street, and it's really a very sad situation that we're not taking care of so many children out there.
Well, if you had one tip that you could give, that you could just implant in everyone's brain to help cut down on human trafficking, just one thing, what would it be that you think would move the needle the most in terms of dealing with this problem?
Well, I think we have to hold buyers accountable, because it's the old economic principle of supply and demand. And if we could access a good way of holding buyers accountable, publicizing who they are, making them receive some sort of punishment for seeking this type of service. I mean, I think the old supply and demand rule comes into play here just as much as it does anywhere. And I think, what we do is we tend to spend our time trying to prosecute the traffickers and everything, which is a good thing. I certainly want that to continue, but we don't want buyers to continue to just walk away with no consequences.
Well, it is the judicial system golden rule, I would think. And it goes for any laws. If a speeding ticket only cost you $1, nobody would pay attention or care if they got them. The punishment has to fit the crime, and it has to rise to the level to where it would be painful enough and transformative enough to somebody's life that they don't want that to happen to them, and it makes them think twice before they break the law. And I don't even know if there's a punishment harsh enough for this kind of crime, Sandy, honestly.
Well, I certainly agree with you. And like I said, in looking at these numbers of, like right now, the Center for Violence Prevention, of course, we have rapid response advocates all over the state who respond to these cases. I mean, we've responded to every one of these calls. And, right now we've got about 170 active human trafficking victims that we're working with. And, some of them are in rehab, some of them are, getting mental health treatment. Some of them are with us at the tower. Some of them are children who are still in the system that we're continuing to come around and work with case management and everything. And so we've got a big problem. But I will have to say this, that, people say, well, Mississippi's got all this human trafficking and all this, but But I think the truth is that Mississippi has really stepped up when it comes to identifying these cases, when it comes to training our law enforcement investigators. I mean, through our training board that was established in House Bill 1559, our training board has certified about 600 human trafficking investigators, and that's all over the state of Mississippi. So, we are identifying these cases, and so I'm proud of that piece, and I think that, judging by the number of tips that we've received, I think the public is doing a good job paying attention. And, I think they're starting to understand it's not necessarily the white man at Walmart. It's potentially, this right here, the cell phone that everybody's carrying around. So, I think we've got some good things to talk about, but I would agree that our biggest barrier right now is the court system and the length of time it takes to prosecute, and the cases that are dismissed and pled down, and that in my opinion is the biggest issue we have at this point.
The buyers in that situation, and I'm going to say something that may get me in trouble, and you've known me long enough, Sandy, to know I don't care. I am perfectly fine.
I love that about you.
I am perfectly fine with some of my tax dollars being spent to buy billboards to put up the pictures and names of the buyers if they're convicted.
Yes.
That's
there has to be some. Yes, it is, and because they don't want that to happen. They don't want their wife and their children and the people they go to church with and they work with. They don't want anybody to know that. And so, if we could impact the buyers, I think we could start to see a decline in this crime.
Sandy Middleton with the Center for Violence Prevention in Mississippi. Keep up the fantastic job on and very important work that you're doing. You've always done a great job, and today is no exception. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dad.
You come back anytime, okay? Next time we'll find out if she ever played Gallup.
No matter where you're from, Abbeville, Batesville, D'Iberville, or any other ville in the SIP, you're starting your day off right. Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk, Mississippi.
My threads are fresh and I'm looking deaf. Yo, what's up, what LOC? The girls was all jocking at the other end of the bar, having drinks with some no-name chump when they know that I'm the star. So I got up and strolled over to the other side of the cantina. I asked the guy, why you so fly? He said, Funky Cole Medina.
Tone Loc. The graphics continue to impress.
You like it? Well, that's the Marky Mark was sitting on the front of his, in the Funky Bunch, on the front of his IROC Z with the license plate, Double M.
Man.
Throw the IROC Z up there,
It was a different time.
Oh, man, what a good time, Didn't need glass packs because the engine actually sounded like an engine.
And I'm sorry if I offend anyone. If so, the only thing that I can say is good. Rap music today can't hold a candle to that music from the 80s. That was good stuff.
It was classic, man. I mean, it was just all over the board, too. The outfits, the lyrics, the music, everything. It was like real music, too. There was a band involved.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, there was a melody. There were understandable lyrics, which we don't get a lot of in rap these days. I hear rap and roll my eyes and just move on to something else. I don't listen to it. Not going to listen to it. Don't want to be in the same room with it. Just keep it away from me and I'll be happy. Mornings, of course, presented by Community Bank, who's here for every part of your financial journey. If you're looking to manage your personal finances, their banking services make it simple, secure, and tailored to you. If you're ready to grow your business, they offer expert guidance and custom solutions to help your business thrive. If you're dreaming of a new home, their mortgage specialist can make the process seamless. It's all designed with you in mind. They're more than just a bank. They're your partner for life's biggest moments. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I don't know if you saw this. This came up. and we've got the story. SuperTalk Mississippi News has it at supertalk.fm. According to this study, the favorite Super Bowl food in Mississippi. Did you see this?
I haven't seen this one, no. What we got this year?
The Super Bowl, of course, is on Sunday. And us and I think 5 other states, the top Super Bowl food is quesadillas.
Really?
Not wings, not anything you would expect. Quesadillas is the number 1 Super Bowl food.
It wouldn't have been first on my list, but,
I would not have guessed that.
So they say.
Louisiana, Texas, Nevada, California, and Arizona. Quesadillas was the top choice, along with here in Mississippi, which means us and California have something in common, and I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Other popular Super Bowl foods. Okay, this one I can understand. Chocolate chip cookies. Okay.
But you got West Texas has popcorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, popcorn. 2 states, their favorite Super Bowl food is crab rangoon. That's a little too fancy.
Yeah.
Garlic knots, buffalo wings, 7-layer dip, pigs in a blanket, deviled eggs. All of those, to me, it's just me, make more sense than quesadillas.
Well, I mean, you got, the whole, half the country, the whole Northeast, including Florida, all the way to North Dakota and Wyoming, they're big on the buffalo chicken dip, apparently. Yeah, that's, is there some kind of, did they invent it up there or something?
I don't know, but it's number 1 in a large portion of America.
Yeah, in Rhode Island, they're big on the pigs in a blanket, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
see, what would be your pick if you were going to guess? I should have asked you to guess before I started talking about it, since you hadn't seen the article yet. What would you have guessed would have been the number 1?
I would have never thought quesadillas for Louisiana and Mississippi. Maybe part of Texas and Arizona. I mean, maybe they have some unique way of making a quesadilla. But no, for Mississippi, I would have probably gone with buffalo wings or something like that.
I would have said wings.
I would have gone with wings.
That would have been an automatic answer from me, but apparently that is not the case.
What is the connectivity here with Kansas and Arkansas wanting crab rangoon?
I don't know.
That's odd, isn't it?
Arkansas.
It's Arkansas, man.
Crab rangoon.
I didn't even know that was an option.
But I'm not even entirely sure where you get crab rangoon in Arkansas. You get crabs in Arkansas, it's a whole different conversation than if you're in Maine.
You went there, not me, but I was thinking the same thing.
That's a totally different thing. Just got an email during the break, by the way, while we're on the subject of the Super Bowl. By the way, I was looking at the prop bet odds last night. The least surprising odds I have ever seen. The odds are even if you want to bet on the coin toss.
Yeah, the odds are even there?
Yeah, the odds are even between heads and tails. Whichever way you bet, if you win, you're going to win the same amount, which is not a whole lot. But it's 50-50, almost like you're flipping a coin. But the email that I got, Mississippi, 40% of the people polled in Mississippi are rooting for the Patriots this weekend. 38% rooting for the Seahawks. So we're barely a Patriot state, but we're a Patriot state. And once again, we're off in the fringes. The Seahawks are favored in 35 states. The Patriots only have 10 states that the majority are rooting for them, Mississippi being one of them. So apparently, according to this, if the Super Bowl this weekend, you're rooting for the Seahawks, you're wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Seahawks, they were not necessarily a favored type team to win it. They had a quietly awesome season and find themselves in the bowl. And then, the Patriots have such a history of winning them. Maybe there's some fatigue there, and people just want to see an underdog, maybe.
Well, and the thing is, this to me is the problem with the NFL now as it stands. You look at the last 10 Super Bowl matchups, including the one coming up this weekend, those 10 games feature a grand total of 9 different teams. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have different teams every time, that would be 20 teams over 10 games.
Right.
9 teams for those 10 games total. We get the same old, year after year after year. If they take a couple of years off, they come right back. The Saints got 1, and that was it.
Well, you had February 2015 Super Bowl XLIX. The Seahawks lost to the New England Patriots 28-24. So that was a while back. And then 2014, they beat the Broncos pretty badly. They're 43-8 to win. And then in 2006, they lost to the Steelers 21-10, the Seahawks did. So maybe there's a little recency bias there where New England won that last one in 2015, and people remember that. I personally didn't.
No.
But it's been, 11 years since they have been to the Super Bowl. And so that ought to be an interesting battle there, especially knowing that New England beat them the last time, 28-24. Close ball game.
Yeah, it's the sports version of what's going on with Hollywood in general. We never have anything new. We never have a new storyline. Mm-hmm. We have new actors, but it's the same old show rebooted, telling the same old story.
Yeah, you have, as of 2026, 12 NFL teams have never won a Super Bowl. Those teams are Arizona, Atlanta, Buffalo, Carolina, the Bengals of Cincinnati, Cleveland Browns, Detroit, Houston, Jacksonville, the LA Chargers, the Vikings, and the Tennessee Titans, as what AI on Google is saying. So,
and
then of these, only 4 have never appeared in a Super Bowl. The Browns, the Lions, Texans, and Jaguars. I thought the Lions won it, though.
I thought they did, too.
Yeah, man, this thing might be wrong here. But
yeah,
sometimes it is. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, sometimes.
Google's AI is wrong?
Yeah.
Who could have seen that coming? Actually, final segment coming up here in just a second.
Maybe if we were using Grok, it would have said the Germans won World War II there,
It would also issued a cuss word and probably had an anime girl with not enough clothing on attached to it on Grok. That's the problem there.
In the spirit of Ava Braun.
Got it. It's her birthday, by the way, if you missed that in the first hour.
Of course. She's waxing Hitler's beard in heaven right now. Or hell, probably more likely.
I'm pretty sure we all know the general direction he headed in when he checked out.
Yeah, he did not go upstairs.
No,
he took the escalator downstairs.
No, it wasn't an escalator. It was an elevator shaft with no elevator.
You don't think they made him watch all the way down? Like, look, you're going down, brother. You're going to watch this. They just sent him, huh?
Yeah, just boonk.
Oh goodness, I did this. No,
move on with getting back to normal after that point. Good boot in the derriere. Listen to him as he disappears into the distance. I think that's what happened there. Great. Now we've offended all the Hitler fans.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
You laugh. There probably are some.
The Democrats will be mad about that.
No, well, they're mad about everything. They wake up mad. Sometimes they're mad because they woke up. When we come back, final segment. You brought up AI. It's your fault. I got two things to talk about, including a money-making opportunity for you, Lance.
All right, I need that.
You're going to be excited. Spoilers, you're not going to be excited. In the final segment of Mornings, coming up next on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Bendable Glass Traffic.
VIP pass to hear what the most influential Mississippians are talking about.
This is very important. Huge news.
Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
It's your fault. Don't laugh.
Good stuff here, man.
I have to apologize in advance during the break. I have come down with a nearly terminal case of hiccups. So,
well, at least it's not crabs, so that's good.
Well, I haven't been to Arkansas lately.
Well, I mean, when you go to Arkansas and you're looking for crab, I think you get a side shooter of Clorox and gasoline, but
Yeah, and possibly a trip to the clinic. Couple of things. I don't know if you've been keeping up with what's going on in AI. I'm not talking about Google's AI assistant or Windows or everybody else, basically. There was the hiccup for you. that is piling on the AI train. There are things going on. There's a program that has come out called OpenClaw that basically turns AI into your personal assistant.
And your friend.
If you're foolish, you install it on your computer. If you're not, you go rent space on somebody else's computer and install it there. I've actually played around with it. I'm foolish. I installed it on one of my computers, but it's not even a joke. But this thing has started taking off. They put together a social media site for the AI agents to go and sign up and post and talk back and forth. Their own Facebook, if you will. They have created their own religion. And now, here's your opportunity, Lance. I teased you before the break that had an opportunity for you to make some money. They have a new site, and one of the AI agents reportedly came up with this, put the site together, and put it live. It's called Rent a Human.
Okay.
This is for people to sign up, and people have already done this, where a totally computerized, autonomous, artificial intelligence puts out a job listing for a human being to do something for them in the real world. And then they pay them in, cryptocurrency.
Sounds very simple.
It sounds very science fiction horror movie-ish.
Yeah, I've been revisiting a lot of the 50s through the 60s old science fiction movies. They're absolutely so cool because they actually tell the story. Like what we're dealing with today, a lot of those things, when they were just concepts, it's amazing how things like that actually come to fruition from some of the old flicks and some of the old scripts. People actually saw the future in some way, 70, 80 years ago.
Look, Perez, when I would fill in, Perez was in the booth. We had a running joke. We talked off air and we were like, nobody's getting this but us. We know that. Every once in a while, I would suggest that he do something on the air, and he'd reply with, he'd drop his voice and do it in just this voice. I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave. Talking about Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was an artificial intelligence that went nuts.
Yeah, Hal, he went off his rocker.
Yeah. The best I can tell, everybody is so fired up and so pumped up about artificial intelligence and what it can do and how much money we're going to make and how much better everything is going to be. Apparently none of them have taken the time to watch any of those movies you're talking about, read any of the novels from the 50s up, because it laid it all out. Yep. We know where this ends.
Well, and you're going to end up wearing a unitard, too, a metallic-looking unitard.
I am not built for a unitard.
That's what's so great about some of the old movies is like you can see the gut on the guy.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, these are terrible uniforms that we're all going to have to wear one day. But yeah, you're right. It's everything. It seems to be moving toward this automation world, and beware. That's all I got to say.
Well, I have anybody that's listened for any amount of time knows that I am very much a futurist and early adopter. Yeah. I like stuff. I'm just saying, let's at least sit everybody down at OpenAI and Anthropic and Grok and all the rest of them and make them do a marathon of the Terminator movies. Let's at least do that.
Please, yeah, Dyson, study him.
Oh, no, we'll never build a Dyson sphere. It won't be in the AI's best interest.
No, definitely.
Although, even if we did, we still wouldn't have enough power. Just keep an eye out for it, and if you want to make a couple of quick bucks, there's an AI waiting to hire you so that finally you can be the computer servant.
Oh, yeah.
This is going great.
I want to serve a computer, definitely.
Well, I have enjoyed this as always. I'm now going to go off and sit in the corner and hiccup myself to death for the next 15 minutes.
Good luck, brother.
At least I have a schedule now. I didn't have anything planned. Now I do.
Have a great
How perfect
weekend.
that I hiccuped right in the middle of that, wasn't it? Enjoyed it as always, sir.
Me too, brother. See you next Friday.
Yes, you will. And everybody else, same thing, my friend. I'll see you then.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.